You may be pulling out one of the most magnesium-dense leafy greens on Earth, right out of your own garden. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to identify it, harvest it for free, and save the seeds to build your own backyard food security. This isn't a wild survivalist trick. Look at this. Do you see that dusty white coating? Almost like someone sprinkled flour across the surface? That is your dead giveaway sign. And here's what the USDA data says about what's inside it. Here's what we're covering. First, why this plant may contain 5 times more magnesium than spinach, and why your supplement may not be delivering what you think. Second, how to identify it in 30 seconds. Harvest all season and cook it 3 ways tonight. Third, how to save the seeds once and have a dense source of garden magnesium for years to come. Before we ID it, look at the math. You're likely spending $30 to $50 a month on magnesium supplements. This weed, completely free. Here's what most people don't know. Many common magnesium supplement forms, like magnesium oxide, have low bioavailability, which means your body may only absorb a fraction of what you're paying for. So here's the plant, lamb's quarters, Chenopodium album. According to data reported by the USDA Botanic Garden, this wild green may contain more than 5 times the magnesium of spinach, 3 times the calcium, 3 times the vitamin C, in a single 100-gram serving. And according to a study published in the Journal of Food Composition and Analysis, it outperforms quinoa, the $8 a pound superfood, across multiple nutritional measures. The weed outperforms the superfood. And here's why it may work better than spinach for magnesium absorption. Spinach is high in oxalates, compounds that bind to minerals in your digestive system and reduce absorption. This plant has significantly lower oxalate levels, so more of what you eat may actually reach your cells. This plant has been feeding people for a long time. In India, over 300 million people eat it weekly. They call it bhatha. In Mexico, traditional cooks fold it into tamales, quelite. Indigenous peoples in North America were cultivating members of this family 5,000 years ago. This isn't a wild experiment. This isn't a folk remedy. The data is real. The sources are credible, and the plant is free. So now you know why it works. The next question is, how do you actually find it? It takes less than 30 seconds. Stop. Before you pull out what's growing next to your tomatoes, let me show you something. Here is the plant, lamb's quarters. And here is the entire identification method. Look at the young leaves. Do you see that dusty white coating? Almost like someone sprinkled flour across the surface? That is the sign. No other common garden plant has that coating. If you see that dusting, you've found it. 3 backup signs to be sure. The leaf shape, diamond or triangular, 3 to 7 centimeters, with slightly irregular teeth along the edges. The underside, sometimes slightly purplish or silvery. And when the plant matures, small green flower clusters appear at the very top. The plant most often confused with lamb's quarters is orach, another member of the same family. Here is the important fact. Orach is also edible. The confusion poses no danger. You may end up with slightly different greens. You will not end up harmed. Harvest the young leaves when plants are 6 to 8 inches tall. That's when they're most tender. Cut the top growth. Do not pull the plant. Just cut the top. New leaves regenerate within days. You can return to the same plant all season long without replanting or reseeding. One plant, all season. That's the lazy gardener method. Only harvest from areas you know have not been treated with herbicides or pesticides, and away from heavy traffic roads. Your backyard garden. Perfect. The edge of a busy highway. Not the right spot. 3 ways to cook it tonight. 1. Sauté with garlic butter 3 minutes in a hot pan. Done. Exactly like spinach. 2. Smoothie add-in with banana and ginger. The flavor is mild, much lighter than kale. 3. Egg scramble. Fold it in exactly where you'd use spinach. If you're loving these old-school, forgotten garden tricks, gently tap the subscribe button so you don't miss next week's plant. One note about preparation. Like spinach, lamb's quarters contains oxalates. For most people, this is completely fine in normal quantities. If you have a history of kidney stones or are on specific medications, a 2-minute blanch, pour boiling water over the leaves, let sit, then drain, reduces the oxalate content significantly. As always, consult your healthcare provider for guidance specific to your situation. Cooked lamb's quarters is safe to serve as part of a family meal. As with any new food, introduce it gradually. This plant has been feeding families for thousands of years. Think of it like cilantro. It grows without any effort. You pick what you need, and it comes back. Except this one also gives you magnesium. 1 plant, 1 visual cue. Harvest all season. Cook it like spinach. That's it. But the real magic of this plant isn't just the leaves. It's what happens at the end of summer. This is the part my grandmother understood, and I didn't until recently. At the end of summer, when the seed heads turn dark and dry, like this, that's your signal. The plant has already done the work for you. All you have to do is collect. Strip the seed clusters into a container. Then winnow. Pour the seeds between 2 containers in a light breeze. The chaff blows away. The seeds fall through. Store the cleaned seeds in an airtight jar, somewhere cool and dry. According to research published in the journal PLOS One, seeds like these can remain viable for 12 to 78 years. 1 afternoon of seed saving, a dense source of garden magnesium for years to come. $0 per year. Compare that to $30 to $50 a month in supplements. $360 to $600 a year for something that grows in your backyard for free and reseeds itself. My grandmother kept a jar of these seeds on her kitchen shelf for decades. I used to walk past it as a kid and wonder what it was. She'd just smile and say, "Those are for the garden." I thought it was just dried weeds. Now I understand. She was keeping food security. She was keeping independence. She was keeping something that asked nothing in return and gave everything. Did your grandparents have a secret garden plant that everyone else thought was just a weed? Tell me about it in the comments. So here is the entire cultivation method, summed up in 4 words. Stop pulling it out. Let 1 plant go to seed each season. 1 jar. Decades of garden magnesium. Your grandmother already knew this. Now you do too. That dusty white coating, like someone dusted flour on the leaves. That's how she knew. And that's how you'll spot it too. Let me bring this together. Lamb's quarters may contain 5 times more magnesium than spinach, with better bioavailability. And it grows itself for free. 1 visual cue identifies it in 30 seconds. Harvest all season by cutting the top. Cook it like spinach tonight. Save seeds once, then store in a jar, and you'll have a dense source of garden magnesium for years to come. That dusty white coating, like someone dusted flour on the leaves, that's the sign. You've probably walked past it dozens of times. Now you know what it means. Go outside right now. Look at your garden, your sidewalk, the edge of your yard. Diamond-shaped leaves with a dusty white coating. Don't pull it. That's your garden magnesium. I read the comments. Let me know below. Have you seen this plant before? Now that you've got free garden greens sorted, there's another common backyard mistake that's costing gardeners their harvest. If your tomatoes are getting black spots on the bottom, pulling them isn't the answer. Watch this video right here to save your crop. Happy gardening!